thank you so much for joining us in the video portion of this training. So here you can see that I am curling Kayla's lashes. I'm really getting into the root here. I always ask them if there's any pinching at all before I do the clamp. This is especially useful for people who are afraid of lash curlers. So here I lifted her lid, placed the eyelash curler on top of it, asked if there's any pinching, and then clamped. You really want to do this on anyone who has straight lashes. Here are some types of lashes that we are choosing from. We decided to do some fuller ones since this is the type of lash that is harder to get used to when lashing someone. So as you can see, the first two have more of a thick band, and then the one that I'm about to bring out has a thinner band. The thicker ones are usually really hard to navigate because they are usually pretty stiff and heavy. So here you see that I am bending the lash band before applying to the eye. You want to do this so it follows the curvature of the eye. This will prevent the band from stiffening up again once it is glued onto the eye or completely flopping off in the inner corner. You always want to start off by measuring the eye. Here you can see I put it towards the end of her eye. Now Kayla has naturally downturned eyes, so you want to avoid doing this altogether. What I did is I trimmed the lash and I put the lash to the center of her eye. I had her open. That looks a lot better, but I feel like it should go a little bit more in. So once I did that, you can see that I did more of a lifting effect. And here Kayla too is talking about how she usually feels like lashes drag her eyes down whenever she does wear them. Now, in most cases, this happens because of the way that the lash was applied or the type of lash. Something you want to do no matter who the person is, no matter how old or young they are, you always want to lift the lid so you can see the space between the lid and the lash line. You want to go in with your lash and apply it in an angular motion. Don't go directly or else you will get glue on the lashes and damage the lashes. I will always ask the client to open their eyes after applying the lash just to see how the inner corner and the outer corner lay. Here I'm applying slight pressure in the inner corner and outer corner. This is just to make sure that the lashes don't come off throughout the day. I will always ask them to open their eyes and I will lay my finger under their eye and ask them to open. This is just to make sure that their lashes aren't glued together. You always want to ask if the lash is poking or hurting at all so you can make any adjustments. Kayla is the perfect example of someone who does not wear heavy lashes on a day-to-day basis. That is why it is so important to ask your client what their preference is in their lash style. For the sake of this training, we decided to go with some heavier lashes because those are arguably the tougher ones to get used to when you are applying them on another person. And here I'm repeating all the steps that I did previously, securing the lashes, making sure that there's nothing glued to the bottom, asking if they are comfortable at all. She agreed. I love to compliment people throughout their application, so here I am complimenting her. Now, a step that will easily elevate your entire makeup application is tight lining in the top waterline. So you always want to direct their eyesight away from wherever you're coming in from. So if I'm going into the inner corner, they're going to look the opposite way. Not only will this give an appearance of a darker lash line, but it will hide any gaps that may be present when you do a fuller lash. Another step that you should never skip is coating the natural lashes with mascara. This will bind them to the false lashes and just make it look more cohesive and put together. As you can see here, I'm being very thorough with my mascara. I am making sure that every single hair is coated. My thumb and the pressure of the mascara wand will do the initial step of binding those lashes, and then I will go in with my eyelash curler to further lift the lashes outside of their view and just make it overall more uniform with their natural eye shape. This step is for the clients who say that they can still see the lashes after you apply them. As you can see, Kayla noticed the difference. Another good habit to have is to line the top of the lash band with either an eyeshadow or an eyeliner just to hide that a little bit more. This adds an extra finesse to your work so that it looks good at all angles, no matter if her eyes are open, closed, whatever it may be. Next, I decided to kind of zoom in on Kayla's eyes here so you guys can see that one of the lashes started to lift a little bit. This is very common when it comes to lashes that are a little bit thicker and stiffer. So here I went in with a microfiber swab with some eyelash glue just to secure that lash in there. This is double checking my work. You always want to double check your work before they leave your chair. This will not only make your client feel more comfortable, but make you a better artist. This concludes the demo portion of this last training. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this. I hope that this served as a really good refresher for you guys. I can't wait to see the work that you guys put out and the lashes that you guys use. Thank you again and enjoy the rest of your day.